What is up, guys? It's your boy Nick Torius, back again on another video. I said that I am back again on another video, and today I'm gonna be talking about I'm just imagining that emoji that's like the two smokes coming in his nose. But yeah, sometimes I've been thinking, like, you know what, like sometimes when you're like dealing with these chicks out here, sometimes you think, you know what, maybe I should just be gay, because dealing with hoes, you know, like as fun as it potentially could be, you know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of emotional struggles, right? And I guess I'm just gonna unleash them all here in this video, you know, just so y'all know what I'm going through. So smash the like button, comment below what you think, subscribe if you're new, and let's get into it. So, you know, I'm the type of dude that gets a lot of attention from women, right? Because I'm very tall, I'm very handsome, and I'm very you know, I'm very I guess good looking, right? So, you know, dealing with girls is never really that hard for me, but I was not always as confident as I am now, right? And I'm still growing on my confidence. Like, you know, sometimes, like, I wouldn't really consider myself a dating coach, but I guess I am, because I help give advice to dudes, right, on their dating and stuff. Basically, I just be like trying to give my advice of what I would need, right? Like, as much as, like, because you get imposter syndrome, because you're like, damn, because especially like when you're going through a dry spell, right? Like there's like, honestly, when I just realized that when it comes to women and dating, you know, you're gonna have dry spells and you're gonna have wet spells, right? You're gonna have times when you're just over flooded with hoes, and you're gonna have times when you have no hoes, right? Because I see dudes talking online all the time, like, oh, I don't have hoes, and dudes in person, like, bro, these girls, you know, they be annoying and shit. So, you know, it really makes it not, you know, like, even me, right? So it makes me feel like, okay, it's not that bad that, like, these girls are being impossible and shit, right? Because it's like, even dudes, like, I watch No Jumper all the time, and even Adam 22, who, like, a lot of people think is like a sex god because he'd be like filming porn and shit. And, you know, like, I be like listening to him, and he's like, oh, it's hard to get pussy and shit. I'm like, damn, it's hard for Adam, who be fucking like hella hoes on camera and his woman and shit. You know, because girls, the way I see it, or at least the way that most guys see it, is that girls want the top 10% of dudes, right? They want the top 1% of earners. They want the top, like, they just want the top dude. Like, all the girls just want one dude, and dudes just want all the girls, right? That's just how it is. Like, for me, I can see, like, oh, this girl's hot, this girl's hot. Well, girls, they have like a list of like, oh, how much money does he make? How much, like, how is he, like his personality? How is, you know, I mean, obviously those things matter to guys too, but not as much as like to girls, I guess. I don't know, I feel like that's all cat, because honestly, the only thing that girls really look for is polarity, right? As long as you have a good polarity with a girl, like the spark or the chemistry. I'm just remembering why I made this video. As long as you have a good spark and a good chemistry with a girl, she don't give a fuck about anything, right? And like, that's why girls could be with ugly dudes. It's not necessarily like, if a girl's in love with an ugly dude, it's not necessarily because he's rich. It's not necessarily because he's handsome. It's not necessarily because of his personality. It's just that he's, I guess, her polar opposite, right? It's like hot and cold. Like, we live in a world of duality. So it's like, whatever her, however feminine or however masculine, because I'm reading The Way of the Superior Man again. I've read it like 5 times. I don't know, I want to read it again. And girls, it says in the book about polarity and stuff. So you just got to be the same polarity, like a proton and a neutron, right? Like, girls are neutrons, we're protons. Whatever. Anyways, oh, I just realized that a proton and a neutron is like a boy and a girl, and then the electron is the spark, or like the kid, right? It's like that spark, because electrons turn into electricity, which is a spark. That's so funny. Anyways, so what was I saying? So yeah, girls don't really care about most stuff, like how guys do. or the opposite. I forgot what I was talking about. Anyways, dealing with girls, you're gonna have wet spells and you're gonna have dry spells. Like some days, like when you're really like with a girl that you understand, like, okay, this is what I guess a good relationship, or at least an acceptable relationship. Like this is what I kind of would like to have, right? When you're like that, because for me, I've been trying to be I've been thinking about being in an actual relationship instead of just like talking to random girls. And I'm thinking like, you know what? I'll be in a relationship for a little while, just so I can be like stable and not be focusing on pussy so much, right? So I would like just to like stop caring about it. Because sometimes you just need that, like a girl that's, you know, she's like on the same level as you, but that she's like, you know, she don't really, you know, she's not the baddest girl, but she keeps you good. Because you, as you get older, you realize that girls do provide something, right? Dudes always want to be like, oh, what are you bringing to the table? He has to have this, he has to have that, but what are you bringing to the table, right? But they're like what are girls supposed to answer to that? Because there is something that girls provide. Girls provide, it's true what they say. Like you give a girl something and then she multiplies it, right? So if you're not giving her, like you have to give her a lot to multiply. Like you can't just give her like a little bit to multiply, right? Like if you're making like $100 a month, you can't really multiply it like that too much for a girl, because that's not gonna, because the thing is, this is what a girl provides you, right? As a man, the worst thing that we have is our desire to fuck a lot of different girls, right? It's the worst thing, because dealing with girls is difficult. Girls like to flake. Girls like to be weird, like not, and wait and playing games and not text back, and they like to do all these things, right? Or like they just don't, you know, like sometimes they'll play games with you because, you know, you'll think that they're not interested, and then like a couple months later, like you're hanging out with them, you know? Like it happens all the time. Like they'll play like these games and stuff, or they're just probably talking to a dude, and then and then you just ask her out randomly. You're just like bored. You're like, hey, what are you doing? And then she just comes through, and you're like, oh, I didn't expect that, right? I've even had girls even tell me that, bro. They even tell me like, oh, I can't make it too easy for you. Like I don't give a fuck, you know? Like I don't like you anyway, so I don't care, right? So like girls will literally tell me that they were like, when a girl really likes you, like you really learn a lot of secrets about girls when a girl really likes you, right? Like the more girls that you talk to that actually like you, they're gonna reveal themselves, right? They're gonna reveal all the games that like how girls be like, oh, dad bod or a six-pack, right? Do you think any girl really wants a nigga with a dad bod? Like, do you honestly think that? Like, no, girls fat. Like, why are there no firefighter calendars with dad bod firefighter niggas, right? Like with models. Like, what is a male model? Is a nigga with a six-pack? Just like a girl. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like a girl that's kind of thick, right? Like I don't mind a thick, not a fat girl, but thick girl, right? I don't mind a thick girl. But if she's like fat, she's unattractive, you know? Like girls like muscles. Girls don't like scrawny dudes, and they don't like fat guys, right? Just get that out of your head right now. Girls don't like that shit. Girls like a dude that's fit and in shape, right? Because a scrawny dude, like I was watching a Mr. Beast video, right? On TikTok this morning. And this dude, Mr. Beast was putting all this money into dudes. Alright, so he had to bench, right? He had to bench press like money, and he was like, "Oh, you're gonna bench press $1,000." And then Mr. Beast was like, "Actually, you know what? Let's make it 10,000 to make it a little heavier." And bro was so scrawny, and he couldn't even. Like, obviously, it was fake, right? It was obviously fake. But you know, at the same time, it's like even if it's fake, bro was still super scrawny, and he's like, "Oh, he couldn't lift up $10,000. Like, nigga, you can lift that shit up without bench pressing. You can lift that shit up in one hand. Like, how can you not bench press that?" And then people were like in the comments like, "Oh, it's because of the basket. The basket was making it." That's bullshit, right? That's 200% bullshit. And one of the other comments was like, "Bro, with the bar, that's not even 100 pounds." So it's like, if you like it, but it's a good metaphor for what I'm speaking about, because you cannot lift $10,000, you cannot lift that. That means that you can't make that, right? That means that you're weak. That's your value. Your value is that you can't even lift up $10,000. Like, that's your value. And if a girl saw that, if I was a girl and I saw that, I would think, wow, the nigga sucks. And the nigga's eyeballs was coming out of his head too. That's funny. I'm so beautiful. My bad. I had a gay moment. No homo. Yeah, I be forgetting who watches these, but whatever. Anyways, you know, you got to be able to be fit. You know, you got to be strong. You got to be a strong man. Girls don't want like the whole point of being a nigga is to be a girl's bodyguard, right? Like, you have to be her bodyguard. That's basically what she wants. One thing I noticed is like pornography, right? Like, if you watch porn versus OnlyFans, right? Because porn, the girls are getting paid to fuck guys that they don't necessarily want to fuck, right? So if a girl's getting paid to fuck a dude that she doesn't want to fuck, then the dudes in porn are going to appear in a certain way, right? Like, they're gonna just be any type of dude, like any scrawny dude, any fat dude, any little kid or whatever, right? Like, I seen like those porns where like it's like a dude, obviously he's over 18, but he looks like a little kid, you know? And he's like fucking these porn stars, and it's like, you know, is that realistic? Maybe. But when you watch OnlyFans, right? Like, if you see a girl's OnlyFans, who is she fucking, right? Like, I always think that, because I always see them fucking like dudes with six packs, dudes that are in shape, like the really fine girls that are out like on Instagram and shit that just have OnlyFans. They're just like, they're fucking like, they're showing the dudes that they actually want to fuck, right? And those dudes are always dudes with, you know, they're in shape. They work on themselves, right? And then I realized that I'm like, oh, okay, so porn shows like fat dudes, and, you know, like they're paying to fuck these girls that aren't really enjoying it, but then on OnlyFans they're actually enjoying it because it's their content, they're making it themselves, and they're fucking dudes that they want to fuck, right? Like, that dude's probably not getting paid, you know? So it's like, it shows you the reality, basically. Like mostly like amateur, like the amateur stuff. Like, you basically, like, there's a saying that goes, by their fruits you should know them, right? And if you see the girl that you vibe into on OnlyFans, if you see her fucking a dude that she actually wants to fuck, then that's the type of nigga that she likes, right? That's the type of nigga that you have to become, because a nigga that's in shape like that, you know? But what I was saying before on how, you know, like, when you become in a relationship that you actually want to become in, you realize that women, what they bring is, because, all right, so when I was building 6 feet, right, I was on a roll and I was very much, you know, doing my thing. And it's so funny because what I realize now is that I could really thank my ex-girlfriend for that, because when I would like penetrate her, I guess, you know, she's like providing me energy. She was providing me with energy to focus on 6 feet, because I'm not really like focusing on girls. I'm not really like doing, you know, like, I was a little bit, but it wasn't like so crazy because I had an outlet for my sexual frustration, right, I guess. So we would just fuck, and then it's like I would feel energized, and then I would, you know, get my shit done. And I noticed that with some girls, you fuck them, and then they give you a lot of energy, and then you can get a lot of shit done. Like, sometimes I'll be like, I'm drinking a lot and eating a lot of bad stuff and masturbating a lot, and then I'm like, oh, you know what, my life isn't going that forward, you know? And then I'll just hang out with a girl, and all of a sudden I want to eat fruits and vegetables, right? I don't have to masturbate for like a whole month. I don't have to like, you know, I'm working on all my stuff. I'm getting up early. I'm not getting up so late, you know? It's like these cycles. And I feel like sometimes God sends us certain women, right? I feel like all the women in my life, they're more like actors, right? They're more actors, because when I look back on it, how things start, how things manifest, and how things end, you know, they're like actors. It's like a play, right? It's like, oh, this person comes into my life, they start all this drama, and they leave. And this other person comes into my life, this stuff happens. Like, oh, it's way more fun when you're smoking weed, because you're just like, what? The whole time, right? I guess it's because, I'm not gonna lie, without smoking weed, it was fun. I don't smoke weed anymore. But what was I saying? You know, there's those days that, like, you know, like, I don't even have to say hey. Alright, like, for some reason, right? This is for some reason. And it's so funny. Sometimes I would be talking to one girl, right? When I would be talking to one girl that I really like, that's when all the hoes come. That's when they're like replying my stories, liking my pictures. You know, it's just like when I'm in the store. I'm in the supermarket, and then I talk to a girl that I like a lot, and I'm like trying to get her number or whatever, and then all the girls in the store just like staring, they're like watching and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I see it. Like I literally have like it's so weird. Like I literally had girls come into the same aisle, and they're like watching. They're like, I wish it was me. Right? Weirdos. Anyways, what was I saying? You get the dry spells and you get the wet spells. So sometimes it's okay to just not have any hoes. Not having hoes is a good thing, right? When a girl rejects you, it's a good thing, because it just means get your shit together. You know? But yeah. Don't. So with that being said, don't let these girls frustrate you, right? Don't let these girls. Come on, bro. Don't let these girls frustrate you into submission, because there's, you know, it's a girl's job to suck so that we can become better as men. So with that being said, like the video, comment below what you think, subscribe if you're new. If you have any questions, just DM me on Instagram at Torius at 6 Minute Videos. I'll make a video talking about your question. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my Patreon and to donate to my charity. A hand on the mountain, link is in the description. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.